I'm Thomas Panozzo, and I work in the space business. I've been working for the last 13 years in the space business. So I got my diploma Politecnico di Milano and then moved to France. I worked for the CNES, the French space agency, and then moved to Arianespace, where I spent the most part of my career, basically 10 years. A couple of years as a system engineer, then moved to program management and sales. And since last year, I'm back in Italy, and I'm running a business unit of the Vinci Energies group, Telematic Solution, which is in charge of ground operation at the Guyana Space Center for the launcher Vega and for many other projects at the CSG in the launcher business. I arrived in the business at the beginning of the Ariane 5 ECA production. So I've really seen how Ariane 5 has been used to launch telecommunication satellite and all of this. And then Soyuz came in 2007, 2008, and then Vega came in. So I'm really happy because I was able to witness really the formation of the European launcher fleet. At the beginning of 2000 was only Ariane 5, and right now you have a complete fleet which is operated from the same spaceport and which a variety of services depending on the mass to launch. So it was really, really nice. In terms of evolution, yes, I've seen an evolution because obviously the 2008 crisis hit also a little bit the space market, so the competition has been very, very harsh. There is a new player coming up, old player going out the scene. So there is SpaceX with the Falcon 9 launcher that now is one of the biggest competitors of the European launcher, and some old player which have experienced some quality issue with the launcher, and now they are not like big player, for example Proton with ILS and all of this. So yes, it's changing, it's changing every year, and I think what is very important is that Europe has been able to assure a continuity in the quality of the launch service. Today I think Ariane 5 has done the 56th launch in a row without failure. Basically the last failure was in 2002, so 12 years of continuous launches without any issue, and I think this is quite an outstanding result for Europe. And this is why I'm really proud to be a little part of this, because it's a nice thing. Entrepreneurship in the space business was almost absent until 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Because that space has a very big barrier to get into the play. I mean, you cannot wake up one day and say, okay, I started building hardware for space. Because there are few players, there are lots of money involved. Most of the money was public until a few years ago, and so the barriers were very high. And then the startup concept start making its way also in the space business. And I think that what SpaceX has done is like the example on this. Starting from nothing, they've been able to build a launcher which works, and this works also on other fields of the space, like nanosatellite, Cubas, components. And right now you can go online and buy pieces of hardware for satellite online. You pay with your credit card, you receive it at home. And I think that it's going to change, because space has always been a protected environment with very high budget and very high barriers. But right now, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit within you and you have the competence, and if you have a good group of people, very talented, you can get into the market and be next to the big player and offer your product, and you can be successful. Because if you read space news, which comes out every Tuesday of every week, you can see that there are there is also a story of startup in the space business that offer innovative product, innovative service, and they are having success. So this is actually possible, and I strongly, myself, I'm part of a startup in this business, which I'm trying to put some effort on it. And actually, it's very challenging, you know, because you are playing against big giants that have been there for 30 years. But at the same time, you can offer innovative solution, reactivity, flexibility, which they can't offer. So I think it's definitely worth trying. Well, on launcher side, there's going to be a ministerial conference in next week, which is supposed to confirm the development of Ariane 6 for the next 10 years. Five years development and then starting production. So it's going to be a brand new launcher, very similar to the Ariane 5, but the cost is cost-driven, so the cost should go down in order to make access to space more accessible, actually, for the companies. In terms of technical side, the electric propulsion is something that we have been talking about for a long time. Now the first fully electrical satellite are entering the market. I think we are awaiting the launch of the first completely electric satellite next year in 2015. And it is a major breakthrough because, you know, satellites have been chemical for years from the very beginning, and the moment we're going to launch a completely electric satellite is going to change a lot of trend in the market, because they are, in terms of weight, in terms of dimension, they are different. So I guess also the launcher will adapt to the new trend of the market, you know. So it's always, on this side, it's always interesting. I think that I've seen lots of initiative of people that want to use the CubeSat to satisfy the needs currently satisfied by big spacecraft. The thing is that these spacecraft are often, long in production, they are complicated, they are heavy, and they are very expensive. So the idea is being able to have the same amount of service provided through constellation of CubeSat, which are smaller, easier to produce, and possibly and cheaper for sure, and possibly providing the same service. So I'm talking above all about low Earth orbit, in which with constellation of CubeSat you can do remote sensing, Earth observation, and lots of services needed for the people. So we went to the moon, you know, 12 people put their feet on the moon, then Apollo 17 was over, and then there was a little bit of a standby in the sense of human exploration. Obviously there is a dream to be able to work on another planet. The closest one is Mars, so I think that that's the next step. What I think right now is that we need a technological breakthrough to allow such a mission, which we don't have today. What I'm seeing is that, for example, you know, in the aviation, there was the passage to a reaction engine from a propeller. Okay, that was a major breakthrough. It allows to double the speed, it allows to have more reliability, and that's changed completely the aviation thing. And I think that to go to Mars and come back in a safe way, we would need a sort of this change in the space technologies. Because of today, I see very hard to go to Mars and come back with the technology we have right now. But I think that with a major breakthrough, with a major innovation, that could shorten the time to go there, that could allow to have for at least 1 year livable condition on a planet, then we could really do that. I think it's going to be something good, because In the past 30 years, you know, there is this famous saying that $1 invested in the space is going to have $2 to $6 consequence on terrestrial activities. So it was an investment. You know? And I think that right now is right. Okay, the engine that put the man on the moon are not so different from the engine that I use nowadays. The technology has been a little bit, you know, the same for the last 30 years. On the other side, there are other disciplines which are knowing right now an incredible exponential increase. And I think that what they could reach in those fields could have impact on the space exploration and space mission, and allowing projects like, you know, going to Mars. Just imagine biomedicine. You know, if you can generate something like a device that could help in generating oxygen, for example, for people. If you are able to have to develop something that could solve some issue related to the space exploration, obviously you're going to have a beneficial effect for all the space activities also. So definitely I think that space could benefit from this. It might be stupid what I say, but really I would say follow your dreams. This is something that I really tell to the people, because I had this dream when I was very young. And you know, I had a business at home with my parents, and I was supposed to take over the family business. But I know that inside myself that was not what I was wanting. You know, I wanted to do space. And after 15 years, I'm still in the business. I like what I'm doing, and I kind of achieved what I wanted. So and I started from a little lost village in the Alps in Italy. So I say, no matter what language you speak, no matter where you come from, no matter how much money you have, but what I say that if you have the volunteer, and if you're motivated enough, you really need to push your dream and keep on doing it. Even if you have if you fall down, well, you stand up again and you start again, because it's not an easy job. You have very few players, but I believe, again, it's not important where you come from, which language you speak or any of these, but I think just believe in yourself and follow your dreams, because this is what happened to me. So I think if I can do, anybody can do.